such a joy to introduce a very, very special speaker I have for you tonight. Please welcome Angie Ripley. Thank you so much.
What foundations are we built upon? What evil is buried below that we are covering up? Many of you will know that this building was constructed in the early 1900s to be a military hospital school. Many of the rooms have kept their original names. The morgue, currently filled with Eliza and Helveg's work, previously filled with dead people. The banqueting hall, once the sound of Eton boy banter chimed out against those lavish wooden panels as the officers sat and feasted. The lecture theatre. Once upon a time, students would sit in the very spaces you are sat now and watch as their tutors would slice up and dissect human flesh to uncover what secrets lie beneath our own surfaces. But what many of you may not know is what was on this site before even any of this. I want to take you back 200 years to the early 1800s. Britain had just spent 800 million on war abroad whilst their own population starved. The French Revolution had cast a grim vision of what the British political establishment's future was. The state were terrified of a popular uprising. Whoosh! That's a guillotine chopping someone's head off. So they had to demonstrate that they were serious about law, order, discipline, civility. So they built a prison like no one had ever seen, the fortress-like, vast Millbank Penitentiary. Being as it was so close to Parliament, the Westminster elites could pop in and visit whenever they so wished. Most famously, on one cold February morning in 1817, the Chancellor of the Exchequer popped in with a group of his rich, powerful friends for a routine chapel visit to show them what a good job he was doing, introducing religion into these scoundrels' lives. Everything was going absolutely according to plan until suddenly a loaf of bread sailed through the air in this chapel and landed on the Chancellor's pew. This prompted all of the female inmates to stand up and begin chanting, "Give us our daily bread." And loaves of bread were pitched through the air in this chapel from all angles. It was chaos. The infamous bread strike was coordinated by prisoner number 0716 to demand better quality food in the hell they lived in. And it really was hell. The very foundations of Millbank Penitentiary were laid on thick, wet marshland that would give the building an omnipresent dampness that would plague its entire lifetime. The walls and the gates of the prison sunk a little bit more into the ground each day. This damp gave rise to disease, helped them to fester and spread, most notably one mystery illness known as the flux that swept through the entire population of the prison, causing sickness, vomiting, fever, fits of screaming madness. The prison governors were furious after the bread strike, and so they rooted out prisoner number 0716, and they dragged this nameless young girl through endless labyrinthine corridors. 3 miles of corridors, to be exact. And so complex and so maze-like were these that even the jailers would get lost, and so they would carry with them a piece of chalk, which they would use to mark their passage to find their way back. They threw this girl into solitary confinement for months. her only visitors being the governor and one particularly cruel jailer who would come and torment her daily. Until one day, a fellow inmate snuck this girl a bread knife, which she used to murder the governor and the jailer, and then slit her own wrists. But before this girl lost consciousness, she was able to use her own blood to write a message on the wall of her cell. What crimson once smeared the damp walls of her dark cell now lives on in the cream pages of a book which traps her in this room forever. I know this because when we were researching this, deep in the Harry Potter restricted section of our wonderful library, I found in a dusty old book the very words that this girl wrote on the wall of her cell in blood. And I am going to share these words with you in this very space where all these events took place for the very first time. Too romantic to forget. Fuck, that's creepy out loud. We are cast back. We are cast back. We are cast back. Hey, yeah, how are you doing? How's set up? You're gonna paint the floor in time? Yeah, not bad. Just rehearsing. In the lecture theatre. Yeah, it's alright. It's a bit... If I can just not be too nervous on the night, and Emile's gonna help me out, so it should be cool. Yeah, no, I'm just finishing up. Okay. I'll see you in 5. Cool. Alright. See you then. Bye. Bye.
centre for a new campus and luxury houses. Property developer Delancey have partnered with UAL to demolish the Elephant and Castle shopping centre for a new campus and luxury houses. Property developer Delancey have partnered with UAL to demolish the Elephant and Castle shopping centre for a new campus and luxury. The Elephant and Castle shopping centre for a new campus and luxury houses. Property developer Delancey have partnered with UAL to demolish the Elephant and Castle shopping centre for a new campus and luxury houses. Property developer Delancey have partnered with UAL to demolish the Elephant and Castle shopping centre for a new campus and luxury houses. Property developer Delancey have partnered with UAL to demolish the Elephant and Castle shopping centre for a new campus and luxury houses. Property developer Delancey have partnered with UAL to demolish the Elephant and Castle shopping centre for a new campus and luxury houses. Property developer Delancey have partnered with UAL to demolish the Elephant and Castle shopping centre for a new campus and luxury houses. Property developer Delancey have partnered with UAL to demolish the Elephant.
Where does the past come from? What crimson once smeared the damp walls of her cell now stain the cream pages of a book, and they are alive. And it trapped her in that room. Until I with them words brought her back.
Property developer Delancey have partnered with UAL to demolish the Elephant.
Her captors and the sickness followed. You have to close it. By being no longer a number, then it means that she is free. And she deserves that. She deserves that. Doesn't it stay sunny until really late now?